Alright, VC. We're overdue for a video.
Yes.
So, kind of overlapping schedule situation, so our schedules aren't congruent. So when we have free time, we've been tending to spend it with each other, doing a good bit of digging. Shot up to North Carolina about a month ago. That's going to pertain to this video. And also shot up to Wilmington. So we have joint videos of combined 5 stores that are probably going to, leach out in the VC over the course of 1 to 6 months, knowing us. But I know I got a Blue Note entry coming up here in the near future, and I'd like to get back to making contests. I've kind of fallen away from that, and I want to make sure I stay engaged with the new members of the VC and support them. But that rigmarole out of the way, let's get to the next old plain Jane routines. So you can't shoot up to Charlotte, if you can't tell by how this video is labeled. It's Noble Records. Everyone knows Noble Records. Dillon's Instagram famous. Cool dude, great shop. Cool beans on that. But when you're shooting up there, we couldn't make it to Lunchbox. They're still doing the whole COVID lines and reservation things. But we made it Tip Top, and so here's some Charlotte beers, right? Both these are representative of Fanta Flora Brewery in Nebo, North Carolina. Never heard it spoken in my life. So that's a mystery. I grabbed this one because the school bus is reminiscent of Noble Records. So this is a reasonably thick, late 90s inspired Imperial Stout, aged on cacao nibs and coffee beans. It is called Little Guatemala. And it's not really my lady's preference. She took a sip of it.
And I'm good.
Yeah, so I'll spare the bitter beer face on camera. And my lady's beer is?
It's a banana. Why can't I say this?
Because it's a made-up word. It's an amalgamated word.
Yes, it's just I can't say it, but it's also from the what is that?
Fanta Flora.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's good. It's good. I like it. You should try it.
Yeah, I don't believe I've tried this yet. So this is if anyone's interested in the label, Banango. Banango.
I keep wanting to add another nana.
Yeah, and so it is an unfiltered DIPA, whatever the F that is. DDH with citrus. Am I so balls deep in this beer game that I'm supposed to know what all this stuff is? Mosaic and whole melon fermented with pawpaw fruit.
I don't think it is.
Man, this is highfalutin. It's tasty. It's refreshing. It's good. It's good. I guess warm weather beer. It's. I don't know.
It was still a mouthful.
It's borderline pretentious, but delicious nonetheless. Tip Top Luke's the man. Anytime you buy a bulk of beer to go with records, he gives you a solid price on records, but he'll just chop down the beer price. But just to keep on messing with people before we actually get to the records, I guess I can get one on the way. The spin in the background, I don't need to get into too much because you'll be able to assess it for yourself. It's spinning. Dave, Localbandography, the gentleman we met up with. Super good dude. Dave, I'm a fucking idiot. Veronica and I got a photo. I forgot to get a photo with all of us. So, my bad on that. It won't be the last time we meet up, though. Trying to avoid beer burps here. This is James Mason, Rhythm of Life. So, he described this as a groover. We've put off spinning this, but as of, in about 1 hour, it will be my birthday. So, I figured we'd save this for a little birthday grooving, you know what I'm saying? So, cool in the background. A little bit of synth vibe. Percussion's on point. I like the bass going on as a former C-tier bass player. Yeah, I fuck with this. And a little bit of funky guitar solos too I'm hearing for first time quick assessment. So, alright, to the actual goodies. And if I'm not mistaken, Dave also gave me this record store day bag. So super cool, man. I try to do a better job of making sure I carry totes with me when I go record shopping.
Yeah.
As not
it's
to just.
You already know that that's what's in it.
Well, half the stores give you like a old crappy leftover like grocery bag that your records are just like busting through, or you're destroying their environment.
Already with holes.
Yada yada yada, right? So I guess before we do that, one cool thing we hit next door. I talked about it briefly in the past, but we did the in a recent video, whenever that was. 21 Villages? Is that the name of the place?
Not sure. That's terrible.
We've been there a couple times now too. So, but super cool people, and it's nice that
Right next door.
my lady's a trooper, So while I'm flipping through records, she has a place to like go kill time. And you got
some random tchotchkes. Like I got like a little travel set of like a fork and knife and a spoon. And
that also turns into chopsticks.
Exactly. That also comes with chopsticks. Very handy kind of stuff.
But you don't use chopsticks.
We will not talk about that.
I am proficient with chopsticks.
He likes to show off.
And you actually carry, I love it, it's adorable. She carries one of those little cheater things that you put at the base of chopsticks. It's like...
I do, it's in my purse. He lives there in case I need it. It's easier to use than have to, ask like an idiot, can I have a fork? Because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. I love it. You gotta live the lie, though. But so, what else did you get? The neat little travel thing, and there was something else, right?
I can't remember what else.
There was jewelry and funky tchotchkes, and I got stuff in the past. But when I showed this in a recent video, right?
It wasn't even full yet.
No, it wasn't full. I knew I was going to find something for it. But if anyone's... I guess I'm due to do a room tour. I did one once upon a time for a contest that turned into like a 45-minute video, which this might because my chick and I are hanging out, and it's just all fun. It's cool in the gang. So if this turns into a vinyl community hangout, maybe I'll label as such. Maybe it's 5 fresh finds. Who knows? It's organic. But I have an old wood magazine caddy record store. It used to be like miscellaneous, and then I've now turned it into Miles Davis and Donald Byrd collection. The 2 jazz musicians or players I collect the most. But I acquired this vintage kind of Americana folk art record box from the 50s, and I didn't know what to do with it, and magically it fits my entire Jack White collection. So I don't have a bunch of the like one-off live albums and like get that esoteric or like balls deep in it, but minus one Dead Weather album that's out of print. I want to say it's the Whorehound album. I can't recall. I think that's their debut. But anyways, outside of that, I have the entire collection. So everything from all the Jack Whites and to the Henchmen, etc. But so more Dead Weather, White Stripes, Jack White's solo album, etc., etc. So it just magically fits this absolutely perfectly. Rockin' tours, kind of beating a dead horse, so everyone knows Jack White. Fits perfectly. So now this is snugly snuck aside my repurposed 1950s Philco record player. So vintage next to vintage, I love to repurpose. So anyways, that's next to Noble Records. Let's get to the actual Noble Records. I don't believe I've wasted 7 minutes of your life, but some people want to get straight to the point. So the first thing in the mix. I got a decent, ever-growing collection of Amon Duel 2. Now, I don't know the whole history. I haven't banked it in my mind of the shift between Amon Duel and Amon Duel 2 and variant spellings and band lineups and breaking up and reemergence and splits and fractions. I don't know all that. I do know that this is the 1969 debut of Amon Duel. This is an earlier first press. I'm not quite sure. I don't recall. I know the first presses can get up there. Luckily, there's a little bit of ring wear here that doesn't scare me. And some guy named Wallsack did the liberty of autographing this, which I appreciate. Him helping mark down the price. Because the wax is pretty clean. So a little bit of paper dust on that. I need to upgrade the sleeves on a not so common Prophecy label, if you see there. And it does have the actual original inner sleeve, which is kind of rad. And I don't think if you like the site goodness, that's where it falls in there. I know some people's sweet spot is the early 70s with Amon Duel. That's certainly my sweet spot. And I guess since I have such a big catalog, I kind of rely on what I own and spin instead of going out to like seek this via digital download or whatever. So I'd be lying if I said I was super familiar with this with the amount of vinyl we've acquired lately. I've not got into this.
Can't get to it.
Yeah, so I kind of know what I'm expecting or what wheelhouse this is in. So I've avoided it, not actively, but just more so by it's been perpetually put on the back burner as I spin other stuff. So I do appreciate you as always. So that was off the wall, and I grabbed that, and then Dave told me, he's like, dude, did you miss this? And I was just getting to the point to flip through bins. I hadn't walked down the wall, the holy moly wall, or whatever you would call it. But for my jazz nuts out here, this is Bohemia After Dark, starring Kenny Clark. I assume that rhymes on purpose. Savoy MG 12017. Let me take this out of this paper sleeve, this outer sleeve, which, by the way, from Asheville to Wilmington, from mountains to coast and everything in between, North Carolina absolutely seems to be synonymous with the state. But I know you're not a fan of those. And I'm not either, but hey, anytime you buy a record that comes with a sleeve, I'm not too mad at that. So this is not an everyday find, much less in this condition. You can see right here, someone did the liberty of sharpieing in sticker damage. I hate stickers. A little bit of brownness on the back, a tiny little seam split, but that's just nitpicking on a record that isn't found too often. You gotta dig this. This is early jazz. I should probably insert the year. I think this is in the 50s, if I'm not mistaken. Mid-50s. I'm going to go with 55. But I'll probably insert that if I get crafty with editing it. But starring Kenny Clark on drums, Horace Silver piano, Paul Chambers bass, Jerome Richardson flute and tenor. So that's the player I'm least familiar with on this. But also introducing Julian Cannonball Adderley alto sax. You know how prolific both the Adderley brothers were. So, introducing, you can tell how early this is for the real jazz nuts out there. Nat Adderley, cornet, and then Donald Byrd on trumpet. Dave was like, dude, you got to make room for this. You know Donald Byrd's your boy. And he is. I'll still respectfully file this under Kenny Clark where it belongs. But, yeah, super stoked to find this. I know everyone's going nuts for these blue notes. And I dig them too, but here's a Savoy label you don't see every day. So, stoked to have found this. Pretty clean. One of the more expensive records I bought recently. So, some things went back on the shelf. I had to do some readjusting, some finagling, some 80s metal gems on some, like, really cool cheeseball second tier, third tier, you know, metal. Fantastic album covers I had to let go. And they still kind of haunt me. But, you know, wallets are only so deep. So Jazz won that round. And then actually later on, that's for another video. But later on at Tip Top Records, where we got our beers, I found a metal, maybe a grail to some people, but a super stoked, a super stellar, stoked to found record. Lou Donaldson. Speaking of the blue notes, song shifting, and I got to get back on track because I wander here. And you know, I false promised or joked about potentially making a long video because you know sometimes they're hangouts, and it is what it is. Yep. But every time I go to North Carolina, Lou Donaldson was from the area. He was born there. I know he briefly lived in Gastonia, if I'm not mistaken. But he was also born in a small town in North Carolina. This is deep into the 4000 series. I know I got, speaking of Donald Byrd and the Blue Note 4000 series, I got next project entries coming up in the near future. I want to say it's Brass with Voices. But this is deep into that series. This is 4299. So you can tell this is not reflected by the shift in jazz at this time, also reflected by the hair and garb of these ladies. So I think they look super classy and pretty awesome with their natural hair. And I was looking, I was like, they're not twins. You know, I got twins on the mind though, because we just watched Us.
Yes.
The horror movie. Yeah, more suspense thriller, but
yes, it still left you feeling a little weird about it.
Yeah, it was a good vibe though. But so, Lou Donaldson, never found this in the wild. Every time I go to North Carolina, especially the Charlotte area, I'm always flipping for Lou because it's prolific. Like I say, never found this in a while. That day, I saw 3 copies. This was the best of those 3 copies, so it's the one I copper myself. Super, not a big fan of the, not the Unipacks? What are the, I don't know. Lapsed my name on these stupid interior gatefolds. But, yeah, this is called a Unipack if I'm mistaken. Someone correct me in the comment section. But, yeah, a little bit later in the series, Lou Donaldson, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. So James Brown on there, Brother Soul, Snakebone, Summertime, which it's the Carolinas, so It's April. Summertime is 3 days away. It's about to be 1 billion degrees, and closes out with Caravan. So, thank you, babe. I appreciate you. And we're bulldozing these. So, I guess segueing from, soul jazz of sorts into obscure soul. So this kind of perplexed me when I first saw it. This is Jewel Records. So I don't know if this is supposed to be a street address. 728 Texas, Shreveport, Louisiana. So I don't know if that's supposed to be Texas Avenue, Texas Street, or it's just 728 Texas. That's peculiar.
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense to me. But presenting the fantastic violinaires. So, strings on here. I'm sorry, I'm leaning out of the camera way. It doesn't matter though. Focus on the lady and the record. But the suits drew me in, and this is fantastic. I love the alternating, like the collars and the tie. Suave, right? Very suave. So, yes. Yeah. So, afros and tote. You can tell who's really doing the work, because there's an old man, and he's kind of shoved in the background, so he must be the musical talent. The looker is the one in the alternating suit, so he's probably the lead here. I don't know too much about this, other than I looked it up, and the lead of this is deeper into gospel music and was much more prolific. It says, Jewel's goal is to bring you the best in gospel. So we present the fantastic violinaires. But this is not... I definitely wouldn't call this like Jesus music. It's not preachy. I guess it's gospel-esque without being preachy. It's positive music. Good vibes. Not so much funky bass line. This is 1974. But good strings, guitars. The bass and the drums are keeping tempo. And it's pretty rad music. Thank you, and Tell Me How Long. If I recall right, this is one of the first ones I listened to when we got home. 4 and 5 on the A side, I think, are pretty strong here. But I'll give this another spin. This was kind of a blind buy. It was a curious thing. How often do you see the Jewel label? So kind of a paper inner sleeve, left some dust. But not an everyday find. And happy with the blind buy. So right on with that. Fantastic cover. A little bit of soul, light funk, gospel-esque. Now, if we're talking about soul, what screams soul better than this? We were just in Wilmington, and you pointed this out, and I was like, actually, babe, we just bought this record, right? And she's like, oh, yeah, I forgot. I've passed on this. I like Barry. I like Barry a lot. But it's perpetually... Did I ever say that? Is that going to be the word of the day? I think I keep on saying perpetually. So it's soon to be sleep time, so I'm probably going to lean on crutch words or one big word that's just the word of the day. So this shrinky Barry, look at that freaking suit. Just full confidence. Lady creeping in the back, just clenching the chest. And then like 3 wayward women in the background just like, how do I get in that spot? This dude was the player. This dude probably had the longest of dongs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah. So that guy, Barry was throwing some lumber.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But 20th Century Fox, clean copy, still inexpensive. You could find this record, and this is one of those records that, in tremendous condition, is still under $10. So if you're finding a dollar bin or $2-3 copies, you might as well hold out for a $3-4 copy, because this in its best shape is still a single-digit record. But stoked to have found that. It's one of those that I just kind of... Yeah, that look is full confidence. I'm looking forward to eventually buying a house, having a music room, and just having like a wall of terrible records. Like not terrible records, terribly
good.
So bad they're awesome album covers. We've been doing better at letting some of those go.
True.
Because we
still pointing mine to each other.
Yeah,
check this out.
And when they're so bad they're awesome, we still have to buy them. But we've been doing a lot better of like making a joke at the record store and leaving it in the bin.
Yeah,
we probably do have an honest 20-30 not good enough to make the cut. Yes, they're funny, but not so terrible that you need to keep them album covers.
Just gotta share them at least.
But babe, you want to flip the record while I grab the next one? All right. So side B, we're back. However this edits or plays out, it is what it is. Fishing for fishies. So, if you've been watching the videos for the past few months, I've been plugging away at this this King Gizzard catalog. I don't know what to say about this. Other than most people would put this in their top 3, top 5. A lot of people, King Gizzard albums in general, and a lot of people would have this as like probably their best or like a top 3 situation for introduction into the band albums. By the way, we're going to see King Gizzard in Asheville at an outdoor venue in October.
Yes.
It's on a Monday. I think it's like October 13th or something. But tickets are still available. I want to say they're like $30. It's outdoor show. COVID's getting less and less scary as things develop and move on.
Get your vaccine.
So get your vaccine. She got hers. I'm due in the very near future. But anyways, fishing for fishies. I'm going to just take this opportunity to invite you to come hang out with us in the near future. But this has, it appears to be either a giant poster. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Giant.
oh, look at me. I gave it a baby tear.
Okay.
I've had the poster for, all of seconds. And gave it an itty bitty baby tear. But I usually keep my accoutrements in the record. And then not only that, I don't think that's the type of poster I'd want to display anyways. But still cool to have it, and it's one of those things that makes all the novelties that come with record collecting are cool. So, how is it labeled on the front, Dave? On the hype sticker? What the bottom? What color is it?
What color? What the? I still don't see it. What are you talking about? King Gizzard and these fishing.
There we go.
Oh, landfill edition.
What does it say? Landfill?
U.S. Toxic Landfill Edition.
U.S. Toxic Landfill Edition.
Does
So,
that speak to you, U.S. Toxic Landfill?
well, I think of Toxic, like U.S. Toxic. I think of like the Toxic Avenger. It was like a B movie, and also a comic book and a cartoon from the 90s. I think they're actually going to make a big budget. This was out of circulation, in circulation. Once again, I talked about this in the past, but this is ATO Flightless Records, or this might just be Flightless, depending on what pressing is. I know Flightless is theirs, and I think ATO is a distributor. I don't know where this was pressed. I don't know how this falls in their whole catalog, but as far as, not their catalog, but where it falls in their press and everything. I know some people go nuts for all these color variations, and they have, I don't need 8 different color pressings of the same album. But this will be a spin in the near future. We're holding off right now, but we'll definitely probably be ramping up our King Gizzard listening right before the show. And then so maybe by then I will have completed their ever-growing catalog and finally get to the long-awaited ranking video, which Lord knows how long that's going to take. All right. So the last thing I'm going to get to here, honestly, I can't remember. I don't know if because I played this first, and then I try to keep things in 2 separate bags, and then some things got misaligned, and I knew which ones came from which. But this is the one I could not recall if this came from Noble Records or from Tip Top Records.
You can't expect me to remember.
Yes, I can't respect. You buy 10 plus albums in a day, and you hang out with a buddy, and then you recall the records he bought, and then you're at 2 different locations, and you're ever flipping and spinning and talking about shit, and then a month goes by. It's easy to forget. This is Jimmy Cliff. Jazz could be, not jazz, good googly moogly. Reggae, ska. I didn't think Jimmy Cliff is considered a ska guy. All that dub thing. Sherv was recently talking about showing his reggae albums, which is really cool. Hopefully that triggers more people into giving time and credence to this tremendous music. This is where I like it. This is a sweet spot. The only Jimmy Cliff I had prior to this was the old Mango pressing of The Harder They Come. The people lump it in with blaxploitation, but it's not really. It's just a 70s black movie. So every movie from the 70s that features a black cast isn't a blaxploitation movie, but it's more like a crime noir or whatever. But this is 1980, so this is before it gets overly produced. There's a little bit of a synth kind of electronic element to it, but it doesn't sound overly produced. You still hear the instruments, you hear the drums, you hear the bass. It's pretty cool, but 1980, there's kind of a shift in a lot of that music where it kind of turns into that kind of dance hall vibe where it's a little bit lost, and it kind of gets poppy and commercial international distribution. What was England playing at the time? The black clubs and in London. You know, a lot of this was very in vogue. But this is recorded at Tough Gong Recording Studios, Kingston, Jamaica. Like I say, 1980. I Am the Livin', Another Summer. Speaking of summer, that's right around the corner. All the Strength We Got, In the Beginning, It's the Beginning of the End, Gone Clear, Love Again, Satan's Kingdom, Morning Train. So, decent lyrical substance. A quote here for Psalm 133 on the back. And then if you want to see the record itself, like I say, outside of a speck of dust there from a paper sleeve, really clean copy. Reggae, like I say, isn't always the easiest find. So I usually acquire them as I stumble into them, and not so much am I actively seeking out individual pressings or whatever. I mean, I think I bought Lee Scratch Perry recently online because it was on sale. I was just shopping online and saw an eBay sale, so I took advantage of that, but usually not going out of my way to buy much anything online. I'm kind of an in-store buyer. But that rounds it out. We're sub 30 minutes.
Okay.
So Charlotte was good to us. Hanging out with Dave was super cool.
Yeah.
I guess we'll get deeper into story time with the next one because Tip Top is more of a hangout.
Yeah.
So we had,
really enjoying this though. This is nice.
Yeah, so the album itself?
The album itself, yes.
Yeah, it's a groover. And then so Tip Top's finds coming up. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we've fallen out of rhythm in this. Give us a thumbs down if you think this is absolute dribble. Feel free to hit that thumbs down. Unsub. Don't share this video. Don't leave any comments. Be angry. You know?
Comment about how I'm freezing.
Yeah.
It's like, no, what?
Yeah.
Don't say such things.
It's 73 degrees in the house.
Yeah, no.
And she's freezing.
He's doing right by me.
Yeah.
He's trying to help.
Yeah, so... Yeah, man. So,
sweating away. Give me a sponge. Like
so... Right on. So, we're doing well. Sidetrack, talking about the thermostat. What do you set your thermostat on? Question of the day. Cheers. BC. Be well. Take care.
Bye.
All that jazz. You know, rock on. Peace. Hang 10. Love y'all.